Creativity requires presence. I think we can all agree that if the poet isn't present, the poem won't be expressed. If the musician or composer isn't present, they will never write their great work of song. If the painter isn't present, you're never going to see their art hanging on the wall. And if the sculptor isn't present, the sculpture is not going to reveal itself. So, for those of us that are not lifelong or career artists in some way, how does that translate into our everyday lives? That's the topic we're going to explore today. And full disclosure, I have some resistance to this. This has been one of the most challenging videos I've sat down to record. So if it comes out choppy, just know that's why, and I'll be working through it. At the same time, you'll have the opportunity to start doing the same. Welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Kate Flynn, the Active Deconditioner. I know, one of the few things I know for sure in life is that we all have the answers within us that we are seeking. We have been conditioned to search for and seek those answers outside of ourselves. And I'm on a mission to empower you, to engage you through a specific series of yes or no questions to help you identify your own areas of challenge and how you would like to implement correction. Because when it comes from you, when you know within you what is true, then you take action. I found that if someone else is telling us from the outside, we tend to go along with it. We kind of want to believe it. We give our power away to those people that are telling us. And I feel like we are ready on some level to globally and consciously transition out of that way of thought and into a new way of being and creating our lives. So back to that specific topic. How do we give ourselves presence to create our lives? So going from the idea of creating something that is a work of art or a tangible thing, or what most of us think of as hobbies, maybe you don't think yourself creative at all. Regardless of your thoughts on creativity, we are each creating our lives. And we're either doing that actively through being present, taking correct action, making correct decisions, being in correct relationships, or we're kind of checked out and we're kind of allowing life to be created for us. So I invite you to move through this kind of like as a mini taste of what I do in one-on-one session. And if you're responding to that, or if that's an invitation you would like to accept, then maybe consider getting out a little pen and paper and taking some notes here. Have you ever thought of creating your life in this way before? Wait for your body's response or any kind of sense of, yes, I have thought about that, or no, this is pretty new. I've always considered, those things are hobbies, and I've never really thought about being an active participant or creator of my own life. And then consider, if the latter is true, that you are passively creating your life, why that may be. Now, before you jump into answering the open-ended question, unless that's correct for you and you're responding to, oh, I can work with that, and you want to pause this video and maybe do a little journaling, why are you not actively creating your life with presence? Then please do so. Otherwise, stick around because we're going to break it down into some yes or no questions. Now, to preface this, I know that there's usually more than one reason that we are not present with whatever it is that is in front of us, right? Normally or typically, there's quite a few little things that have kind of congealed into this ball of entangled stuff that just makes it more likely that we're going to check out rather than consciously and with presence create our life. So I like to ask the question, where do I have the most access to make the biggest change with the least amount of resistance? Because I am all for ease and grace. So I don't want to go after the biggest reason if it's also the most challenging for me or the hardest reason, right? I want to find that sweet spot reason, oh, this is an issue and I know I can move through that with ease and grace, and it's not going to kind of turn my life upside down. Does that way of looking at this resonate with you? If so, great, keep listening. Now, as I'm taking my notes for this and considering what it is I want to share and how I want to share it, I have to answer that question for myself, right? Why was I so resistant to sitting down and doing this? Well, it's kind of easy for me to figure out because I've been considering this, or I have, let's say, set some pretty significant goals over the last week. There's a specific direction I want my life to move in. I've delineated all the steps. I know that if I do these things, I will get where I want to go. I will meet my goals and be able to set new ones and come back into more of an expanded way of being, because I've been in this kind of hermit way of being, and now I'm ready to expand and move out of that shell. So why would I not want to do that? If I know that if I do these things, then I should totally do them because I'll get what I want. But there's a little piece of my mind, and you know that mental story we all tell ourselves that says, you've tried this before, you got serious, you set your goals, and it didn't work. And like bodily, I know, I understand why things didn't work then. I'm not the same person I was then. There's no reason. There's nothing left to clear. There's nothing left to heal. There's no other obstacle standing in my way that says you can't have what you want regarding the direction you want your life to go in. But man, our minds love to hang on to those stories and play them on repeat. And when we hear that, it's like our life force energy is being siphoned or sucked away from us and fueling that mental madness. And from there, we tend to check out. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not filming this video today. I guess I'm not going to check all those things off my list today. And then I decided I don't want to do that. I want to reclaim the energy, the power from that mental story and channel it into a way that I can use to move forward and create the life I want with presence. So another example of something that could be stopping you from being present in the creation of your life is an awareness, maybe a mental awareness, that you've spent a lot of energy moving forward and creating your life in a way that was not correct. And when we think about moving forward, we can kind of be surrendered to the idea of making correct decisions, entering into correct relationships, jobs, locations for living, whatever it may be. But then when we have to reconcile the life we've created up to that point, that can feel really hard because you come into this choice point of this is how I want to create my life. But before I can do that, these are the things I have to uncreate. I have to let go of to open up the space for what I want to manifest in its place. And that can be really, really challenging. So if you are not present with creating the life that you want because of those things, enjoy a deep breath, give yourself a little bit of grace. You know, we are all doing the best we can to be quote unquote normal, whatever that means, in a society that's very abnormal. Like, as human beings, we're not created to thrive in life as it is in the Western world. We're just not. So if you're struggling with balancing it all and figuring it all out, know that no one is superhuman. Like, we're not meant to create in that way. If you give yourself that grace and you feel this sense of knowing in your body, then your mind can start to relax. And it can say, well, maybe I don't need to play the same song on repeat. Maybe we can do small changes over long periods of time that are really going to have a positive impact in our lives. So for you, is it easy for you to answer open-ended questions? If I already asked that, I'm asking again. So if it is, then maybe do pause this video now and consider, why am I not presently creating my life? And just do a little stream of consciousness journaling if that feels correct to you. If it's not journaling, maybe it's some intuitive movement. Maybe it's dance, maybe it's going outside and being in nature and just listening to what your body has to share. And maybe there's this conversation that goes back and forth between your mind and your body. If yes or no questions are easier to answer, then consider the following: listening for your body's response, right? Maybe you feel an opening on a yes, maybe you feel a contraction on a no, maybe an actual mm-hmm or yes comes out of your mouth, or mm-mm or no, or maybe it's maybe that's close, but that's not it, right? Are there places where your life force energy, your presence, your power to create your life are being siphoned away and fueling the false self? Fueling, maybe that false self doesn't resonate with you, but I feel like thinking thoughts, the mental story, because we all have that. We all know, at least I have a great awareness of the craziness that's running in the background. So are there places where it's being siphoned away and you're spending so much energy to support the story that you don't have any presence left in you to give to what it is you do want to create in your life? Yes or no? If that's a yes, then consider the following. Is there a boundary that is weakened or never was put in place that's allowing that energy to be sucked away from you? Don't try to figure out what the boundary is. Simply answer that yes or no question. Is there a boundary that's lapsed, that's siphoning away life force energy? Yes or no? Is there somewhere in your physicality or your physical routine, the food that you eat, the shoes that you wear, the toothpaste that you use, all of those are examples of physical kind of habits we fall into because maybe other people have told us that those are correct, but they're not actually correct for us. So is there an area of your physicality and all that that encompasses where energy is being siphoned away from you? I'm going to ask you one more question to consider, because too many questions and too much investigation just isn't very much fun. So one more question. Is there something about your environment that's allowing life force energy to be siphoned away from you? Is there an environmental component of lapsed energy or energy being sucked away? So your environment is your home, of course, your location, who you share your space with, the art, the things that are in your space. Is there a component of your environment that is making it challenging to be present in the creation of your life? Again, looking for your bodily response. Is it, yeah, whoa, what does that even mean? Or is that no? If any of those resonated with you, so we talked about boundaries, physicality, and environment, then the next step, rather than to try to figure out the mental story, why am I not present with my life, is to ask more questions regarding what is it in my environment? Is this picture on the wall fueling the life that I want to create? Am I holding on to things that I've inherited through family members or loved ones that have passed away that are stopping me from being present and creating my life? Exploring that idea of how am I not being true to myself that's allowing other people to kind of take advantage of me or to vampire my energy away or suck me dry. In terms of physicality, those are kind of the obvious things. Anything you do on a physical level each day is kind of free game for this. Are you taking supplements because someone else told you you should be taking those supplements, but your body doesn't really want them? Are you eating stringently according to a diet that your body is screaming no in opposition of? And once you kind of land on things as you explore, then you can implement correction. That is kind of a little taste of what I offer in a one-on-one session. So if you're kind of intrigued by that process, if you're responding to it, but you're still not sure where to go, then would it be correct to work with me one-on-one to move through these questions, have someone hold space for you so you can answer them? And if not, maybe you write down your questions. Anything that's yes or no is going to help to move you in the direction that you want to go in. Sometimes it's easy. I can write down these questions and ask myself. Sometimes if I'm emotionally attached to the answers, then it's better if I ask my husband to ask me these things and I get a more definitive response within my body. All right, I hope you enjoyed that little exploration. If you did, please like this video, give me a little comment, and maybe subscribe if that feels correct. The link to schedule with me one-on-one is in the description below. And that's all I have for this video. I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.